I had been with Jessica for 2 years. As a software developer, I was proud to support her financially while she was between jobs. Lately, though, something felt off. The secretive phone calls, the emotional distance. Nothing prepared me for what she said that evening. Standing in my kitchen, she casually announced her ex would be moving into my apartment. With a condescending smirk, she added, "You could learn from him, Clark." I just nodded already, planning my next move. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from. Hit like and subscribe if you have ever had someone take advantage of your kindness. I met Jessica at a local coffee shop in downtown Seattle 3 years ago. I had just ordered my usual black coffee when I noticed her frantically trying to salvage her laptop after spilling her latte all over the table. Without thinking, I rushed over with napkins and offered to help. She looked up with these striking green eyes that instantly captivated me. Her name was Jessica Marshall, 27 at the time, and she worked in marketing for a tech company not far from mine. "You just saved my presentation," she said with a warm smile that made the dimple in her right cheek appear. We exchanged numbers, and by the weekend, we were having dinner at my favorite Italian restaurant. I had moved to Seattle right after graduating from University of Washington with my computer science degree. The city was booming with tech opportunities, and I had landed a solid position at a growing software company. By 29, I had saved enough for a down payment on a modest but modern one-bedroom apartment in a decent neighborhood. It was not fancy, but it was mine, and I had worked hard for it. For that first year with Jessica, everything seemed perfect. She was ambitious, funny, and seemed to genuinely care about my interests. She would listen intently when I talked about coding challenges at work. She introduced me to her friends and included me in her life. I thought I had found my person. 6 months ago, Jessica lost her marketing job during company-wide layoffs. She was devastated, and naturally I wanted to support her. "Take your time finding the right fit," I told her. "I can cover the bills for a while." She moved in with me temporarily while she job hunted, and I covered our living expenses, groceries, and even helped her make minimum payments on her credit card debt. The changes in her behavior were subtle at first. She started going out more with friends I had never met. Our conversations grew shorter, more superficial. When I asked about job applications, she would get defensive. "You do not understand how tough the market is right now," she would snap. I backed off, not wanting to add to her stress. Then came the red flags I chose to ignore. Text messages at odd hours of the night. New clothes appearing in her closet that I knew she could not afford on her non-existent income. Vague explanations about where she had been all day. Networking, she would say dismissively. "You would not understand." The day everything changed started normally enough. I had come home from work early, planning to surprise Jessica with takeout from her favorite Thai place. I found her sitting on our couch scrolling through her phone with an unusual smile on her face. "You are home early," she said quickly, locking her screen. "Thought we could have an early dinner together," I replied, setting the food on the coffee table. She barely looked at the food. Instead, she straightened up, as if preparing to deliver a well-rehearsed speech. "So, I have been meaning to tell you something," she began casually. "Ryan lost his apartment last week. His landlord sold the building and everyone had to move out." "Ryan?" I asked, confused. "Your ex Ryan." "Yes," she confirmed. "He needs a place to crash for a while until he finds something new." I felt my stomach tighten. "And well, I told him he could stay here," she announced as if commenting on the weather. I nearly choked on my water. "Here, in my apartment." "Our apartment." She corrected me, though her name was not on the lease, and she had not paid a single bill. "It is just temporary, a few months tops. Jessica, I have never even met this guy. And is not it weird to have your ex living with us?" She rolled her eyes. "We have been broken up for 3 years. We are just friends now. Besides," and here came that smirk that would forever be burned into my memory, "you could learn from him. He is really successful in tech too, more senior than you." The condescension in her voice was unmistakable. In that moment I saw Jessica clearly, for perhaps the first time. But rather than create a scene, I just nodded. "I see. When is he planning to move in?" She seemed surprised by my calm response. "This weekend, actually. I'm going to help him pack tonight." Great, I said, my mind already racing with plans. You should go help him then. After she left, I sat alone in my apartment, the Thai food growing cold. The betrayal cut deep, but something else was emerging through the pain. Determination. Once Jessica was gone, I gave myself exactly 10 minutes to process what had just happened. The audacity of what she was trying to pull was breathtaking. Moving her ex-boyfriend into my apartment. Suggesting I could learn from him, I paced around the living room, hands trembling with a mixture of hurt and anger. Then I spotted her tablet on the coffee table. She had forgotten it in her rush to go help Ryan pack. The screen was unlocked. I hesitated for a brief moment, questioning the ethics of what I was about to do. But given the circumstances, I needed to know the truth. The messaging app was still open. And there they were, conversations with Ryan going back months. I scrolled through them, each message worse than the last. Clark is clueless, one text from Jessica read. He thinks I am applying for jobs all day, but I was with you. How long before we tell him I am moving in, Ryan had asked 3 weeks ago. We need to ease him into it. He is paying all my bills right now, and I cannot afford to lose that. Just follow my lead. My stomach turned as I read their plans to gradually move Ryan into my apartment. They had been seeing each other for at least 4 months, right when Jessica started acting differently. There were mocking references to my boring job, my predictable habits, and worst of all, my gullibility. He actually believes I am still looking for work, Jessica had written. Meanwhile, I can spend my days with you and my evening spending his money. There were selfies of them together in hotel rooms, date night pictures, even photos taken in my car that Jessica regularly borrowed, all while I was working to support her. I set the tablet down, feeling oddly calm despite the rage bubbling beneath the surface. I pulled out my phone and called Marcus, my best friend since college. She said what Marcus exclaimed after I explained the situation. You heard me. She is moving her ex in. Apparently I could learn a thing or two from him, I said, the bitterness evident in my voice. Clark, this is beyond messed up. You know that, right? This is not just inconsiderate. This is calculated manipulation. I am starting to see that, I admitted. Looking back, there were so many signs, like what Marcus pushed. I thought about all the times Jessica had made me feel inadequate, how she would compare my career progress to her friends' boyfriends, how she would make snide comments about my apartment being too small, despite not contributing to the mortgage, how she would guilt me when I questioned expenses on my credit card. Remember last month when I could not go out because I was worried about money, right after I paid her car insurance? Yeah, I just found charges on my credit card from that same night. She bought drinks at that new upscale bar downtown, over $200 worth. For herself, I swallowed hard. The receipt shows 2 specialty cocktails, and I found a text where she told Ryan thanks for the best date night ever. Marcus was silent for a moment. You need to check your financial statements. All of them. For the next hour, I went through my bank and credit card statements. The picture that emerged was clear. While I had been working overtime to cover our expenses, Jessica had been using my money to finance her secret relationship with Ryan. Restaurant charges, hotel bookings disguised as networking events, gifts that I never saw. She used the emergency credit card I gave her to buy him a leather jacket, I told Marcus, my voice hollow. $400. She told me her laptop repair cost that much. Clark, listen to me, Marcus said firmly. This woman is using you as an ATM while carrying on with her ex. You need to protect yourself now, legally and financially. He was right. The pain of betrayal was giving way to something more powerful, self-preservation. I could wallow in hurt, or I could take action. I chose the latter. What are you going to do? Marcus asked. Not what she expects, I replied, a plan already forming in my mind. With Jessica gone for the evening, I had a narrow window to execute my plan. I started by calling my landlord, explaining that I needed to change the locks due to security concerns. Since I was the only person on the lease and had a perfect payment history, he had no objections. He even recommended a locksmith who could come right away. While waiting for the locksmith, I began methodically packing Jessica's belongings. I was surprised by how little she actually owned. Most of the furniture was mine, purchased before she moved in. Her clothes filled several suitcases along with her personal items and electronics. I was careful to include everything that belonged to her, making an inventory as I went. I also gathered all the financial records, credit card statements showing her unauthorized purchases, bank withdrawals she had made for job interview outfits that never materialized, a spreadsheet of all the bills I had paid on her behalf over the last 6 months. It was staggering when I saw the total, nearly $18,000. The locksmith arrived and changed the locks efficiently. I also asked him to install a video doorbell, an additional security measure that would prove invaluable in the coming days. Next, I called another friend, Alicia, who worked as a paralegal at a law firm. I need advice on tenant rights, I explained, giving her a condensed version of the situation. Since she is not on the lease and has not established legal tenancy through utility bills or mail, you have the right to exclude her, Alicia advised. But document everything and secure your valuables. Breakups like this can get ugly. Following her advice, I moved my important documents, laptop, and valuables into a locked filing cabinet. I also backed up evidence of Jessica's deception to a secure cloud account. I went further, contacting my bank and credit card companies to remove Jessica as an authorized user. I changed all my passwords from Netflix to my email accounts. I even called my employer to alert them that an ex might try to contact me at work during the coming days. By midnight, I had secured a storage unit at a facility nearby. I transported all of Jessica's belongings there, paid for 1 month in advance, and obtained an access code. The unit was clean, climate controlled, and secure. I was not being vindictive. I just wanted her out of my life completely. Back at my apartment, I sat down to compose 2 messages. The first was to Ryan from my phone. Jessica has been lying to both of us. She is not welcome at my apartment anymore. Her things are at Mountain View Storage Unit 217. Access code 4392. She is your responsibility now. The second message was to Jessica. I know about you and Ryan. I know about the money you have been spending behind my back. I have changed the locks to my apartment. Your belongings are at Mountain View Storage Unit 217, access code 4392. The unit is paid for 1 month. I have blocked your access to my accounts and credit cards. Do not contact me again except through a lawyer if necessary. I hit send on both messages, then turned off my phone. I knew the fallout would be immediate and intense, but I needed sleep before facing it. The next morning, I woke up to over 30 missed calls and twice as many text messages. Jessica had gone from confusion to anger to pleading in the span of hours. Ryan had sent only 2 messages. First, anger, then a confused. What do you mean? She's been lying to me too. Around noon, my doorbell camera alerted me to movement. There they were, Jessica and Ryan, standing outside my apartment. Jessica was crying dramatically, while Ryan looked increasingly uncomfortable. Clark, open the door right now, Jessica shouted, banging loudly. You cannot just throw my stuff out. I live here. I watched through the peephole, staying completely silent. I have rights, she continued. You cannot just change the locks. Ryan, meanwhile, was scrolling through his phone with a deepening frown. Jessica. I heard him say, why did you tell me you owned this place? What, she stammered. You said this was your apartment, and you were letting Clark stay with you because he was having money troubles. But I just Googled the property records. His name is the only one on the deed. The look of panic on Jessica's face was visible, even through the peephole. And what did he mean about you? Lying about money? You told me you had savings from your executive position. I do, she insisted. Clark is just trying to cause problems between us. He is jealous of what we have. Ryan stepped back, shaking his head. Then why have you been asking me for money for the past month, if you have all these savings, and why did you need to use his credit cards for our dates? Their argument escalated in the hallway. I recorded everything through the doorbell camera as evidence. Eventually, a neighbor threatened to call security, and they left, still arguing. I blocked both their numbers after sending one final text to Jessica with photos of her messages with Ryan and documentation of all the money she had taken from me. I made it clear that if she continued to harass me, I would consider legal action. For the next week, she tried everything. Calling from different numbers, sending friends I had never met to knock on my door, even contacting me through work email. I remained resolute, directing all communication to my lawyer friend, who had agreed to help me pro bono. Eventually, the attempts at contact slowed, then stopped. Through mutual friends, I heard that Ryan had broken things off with Jessica when he realized she had no money of her own and had been manipulating both of us. Apparently, his success in tech had been greatly exaggerated by Jessica. He was between jobs himself and had been counting on moving into what he thought was her apartment. The entire house of cards they had built came tumbling down, and though I had lost money and time, I had regained something far more valuable, my self-respect. 3 months passed, like a healing breeze. Spring arrived in Seattle, bringing cherry blossoms and a renewed sense of possibility. My apartment, once tainted by betrayal, had become my sanctuary again. I had repainted the walls, rearranged the furniture, and purged the last lingering traces of Jessica from my space and my life. The first month after everything happened was admittedly rough. There were moments of doubt nights when I questioned if I had overreacted. But those moments grew fewer as I reconnected with friends I had neglected during my relationship with Jessica. Marcus and his wife had me over for dinner weekly. My sister called more frequently, relieved that I was finally free from what she had always seen as a toxic relationship. "I never liked how she talked down to you," my sister admitted during one of our calls. "You deserve someone who sees your worth, Clark." At work, I channeled my energy into a new project that had captured my interest. My focus and productivity improved, without the constant drain of worry about Jessica's demands. My team lead noticed, and by the second month post-breakup, I was offered a promotion with a substantial raise. "Your work has been exceptional lately," my manager said. "Whatever changes you have made in your life, they are working for you professionally." I joined a support group for people who had experienced manipulative relationships. The stories I heard there helped me understand that what had happened was not unique to me. Financial abuse and emotional manipulation were common tactics, and recognizing them was the first step toward healing. "The hardest part," shared one group member, "is accepting that someone you loved was willing to use you like that." He was right. The betrayal was difficult to process, but it taught me invaluable lessons about establishing boundaries and recognizing red flags. I learned that standing up for myself was not selfishness, but self-preservation. That financial generosity should exist within a framework of mutual respect, not exploitation. Through a colleague, I met Amanda, a software engineer who had recently moved to Seattle from Chicago. Our first conversation at a tech meetup lasted 3 hours, ranging from coding philosophies to our shared love of hiking the Cascades. Unlike with Jessica, there was no pressure, no subtle undermining of my confidence. "I admire how you handled that situation with your ex," Amanda told me after I shared my story on our third date. "It shows integrity and self-respect." We took things slowly, both conscious of building a foundation based on mutual respect. I was more cautious now, more attuned to inconsistencies or manipulative behaviors. But Amanda was refreshingly straightforward and independent. We split checks, alternated planning dates, and gave each other space to maintain our separate lives and interests. As for Jessica, I heard through mutual friends that her situation had spiraled after Ryan left. She had briefly moved in with a college friend, before wearing out her welcome there too. Last I heard, she had reluctantly moved back to her parents' home in Oregon, still unemployed, and now with damaged credit from unpaid bills. I felt no satisfaction in her difficulties, only a sense of gratitude that I had escaped when I did. The money she had taken from me was gone, but the lessons remained, making me wiser and more discerning. Looking back, I realized that the experience, painful as it was, had forced me to examine what I truly wanted in a partner and in life. It had taught me to value authenticity over appearance, substance over style. Most importantly, it showed me that walking away from someone who does not respect you is not failure, but self-love of the highest order. The apartment that Jessica had once tried to claim now felt more mine than ever. The space I had worked hard to afford had become a testament to my resilience. The walls that had once absorbed tense conversations and calculated lies now witnessed new beginnings and genuine laughter. I still have moments of disbelief when I think about how brazenly Jessica had announced her plan to move her ex into my home. The audacity of her smirk As she suggested, I could learn from him. But those memories no longer sting. Instead, they serve as reminders of how far I have come and how much stronger I am for having faced that challenge. Have you ever had someone take advantage of your kindness, only to find yourself stronger after standing up for yourself? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story helped you recognize your own worth, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more stories of overcoming life's challenges. Share this video with someone who might need to be reminded of their value. Remember, sometimes the most painful experiences lead to the greatest growth. Thank you for joining me on this journey towards self-respect and happiness.